Hey there, I'm Logetastic, and this is the Stanley Parable. It's an older game. I actually got it back in November, and I've been dying to play it. Had an empty slot with Don't Starve, so I figured I'd put it in. I don't know how this game works with as far as how I'm going to chop it up. It does have multiple endings, so I might actually, have a part one, part two, and then go back and do a different route. But it's supposed to be a really funny game, so let's just get into it and see how it goes. End is never the end. The end is never the end is never the end. Not responding. Yeah. Did the game freeze on me? There we go.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
How was he paid?
Employee number
Was it good?
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Them typing
And
skills.
although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Wish I had that job.
Stanley was happy.
Wish I was happy.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Was it a
No
Saturday?
one had showed up to give him instructions, call
Might
a
have-
meeting, or even say hi.
It
Never
was
in
Saturday.
all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright, so I'm in control now. But is it Saturday? Okay, I played in window mode here. That way I can see the recording itself. Little... It doesn't seem very... Controls seem off. It doesn't seem very responsive. So I am employee 427. Okay. Those filing cabinets are empty.
All of his co-workers
Oh.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Oh, we can crouch. Oh, what's that say? Who farted? Okay then. And all this commentary is kind of just procedurally generated. I mean, I can go to the boardroom or I cannot, and the narrator will actually change what he says based on what I actually do. I like work just... I just hate the boss. Haha. Man, these people are slobs. Okay, that's the abyss. We work outside the abyss. Nope. Can I do that? Cool. I'm pressing buttons. All the way there. Wait a second. Huh? Okay, they didn't detail the outside of the building, but that's possibly a paradox. I'm turning off the computers. Cool. Okay, it sounds like I'm typing on the computer when I'm not even in front of the computer. What's... Okay, that's just the pipes. Alright. Seeing if I can find something that's like behind the scenes. Ooh! Two-way door. Alright, why not? What? What? This leads us to a hallway. This isn't an office room. I'm in the freaking abyss.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
See, I could go to the right and just ignore that, even though the narrator said to go into the left. Can't close that door. Alright. Can I undo the choice? Nope. Alright. The controls are very wonky. This door doesn't even have a number. Okay, here's the meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Tips
Feeling
not
a wave
getting
of
fired.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Alright, let's just see what this is. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. This box is too small. 8-bird? What? IT department. Oh, it's floaty. We're broke Wednesday. Marketing Mondays. Financial problem. Pranking floor 5 meeting. What to do about 432? Don't tell 432 about meeting. Not cost effective. What? Standard graphs. 40x wide. Get Chris out of the broom closet. What? Targets. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper guy. Who moved my desk? The boss. Application minute. Oh. Solving interpersonal conflict. If you ever find yourself in conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, that's spelled wrong. They spelled yourself wrong. Oh, let's go so fast. What are your future dreams? Success, nature, spring break, less air. What? Pollution? What? Mitosis? What? A boat? Maybe. Clear skin. That'd be nice. Tips for not getting fired. Do unbelievably amazing work all the time, every day, with no expectation of getting promoted. Target demographic: teenagers. What is hot? Profit pilots. Now this is typical boardroom stuff. We need more / less reviews. Work hard. Work harder. Hard worker. Yeah. Things to do. Synergize core values. Whoop. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Yay, I'm unique. And that's fantastic. Whoop. Okay. Ah, the first.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay, now I did see this on Nerd Cubes.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Looking for spare change.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
One more. No, 2 more.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Yes.
Standing around doing nothing?
I'm laughing.
Hey, please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
It's because you're funny, dude. One more. It's Preston squats.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention
it. Yeah, there's dialogue for it. One more, come on.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Joke's on you, I have no friends. Wait a minute.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You know what, first time around, let's just follow everything that he says. Oh, there. Why do you have to take the... Where's the elevator? Man, these types of bathrooms are always the best bathrooms. They're actually clean. No douchebags writing on the stalls. Oh. Schedule Stanley for a raise. No? Alright.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Alright. So there's no way for us to know it. We're gonna have to guess.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
Hey, I tried my...
Put anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2222.
Stanley simply began 2845.
Alright, so we know it's not my luggage combination. Nope. Alright. 8, 6,
For God's
7.
sake, turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Hold on. No? Yay, I guessed it. Oh, that's a buzzy noise and a half. I did record Stardew Valley earlier today, and I played back the videos. And curious, you can't always go back once it's recorded because the data is saved. And there was a hum in the video. I think it was because of the earphones I was using. I switched earphones. There might have been microphones in those earphones. Well, this is interesting. Whoop. Oh! Oh! Alright. Loading screen.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
Oh god, this is horrible.
This now, when for years it had never occurred to him. This question would not go unanswered for long.
Could be indigestion. Alright, so we can't go further down. Ah! Okay.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nope. Okay, maybe I did. Escape. Following orders. Ah! Took the abyss. Idea button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Yep.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Is it worse than
Did he have
TGIF
the
Fridays?
strength to find out?
Oh, that's not an idea button. That's the lights button. Right, that makes sense. Camera button? What's that mug say? I can't jump. Something about hating a certain day. Pen. Can we steal the office pens? Oh. Alright.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
Ooh.
Their true nature revealed.
Numbers.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so
Where's mine?
many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
What number was I? What's wrong with... Oh, that's where we came from. No, wait. Who's that red one? What's in that red... Oh, wait. Okay. 4, 5, 7, weren't we? Yeah, that looks like our office, I think. Maybe. Alright, whatever. Hey, there's some extra ones down that way.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Maybe there's just really good benefits. Like, who cares how bad his job is? I mean, I've worked call centers.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Ooh. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Vertigo.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
How did he get the job in the first place? Alright, straight on through.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
Buttons.
Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Okay. Am I dismantling them yet? Line control status offline. Alright, well, that's the power button. Non-interactable. Oh, there's buttons. I probably have to press them in a certain order. Alright. No? Is this where I get superpowers? You could win on that thing. Is this the master control? Big red button. What does that say? Controls are idle? What? Facility power. Line control, idle, awaiting input. Okay. Big red button. The big red button does nothing? I am disappointed. Hey, it's not asking us to update to Windows 10. Oh wait, this is from the
And when at
past.
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Woo! Oh, someone else. There's some lights.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Flashlight would have been nice.
Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine.
Take that.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
Yeah.
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go,
Or how to get there.
or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Ooh. Whoa!
Stanley
Lost
felt
control.
the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation,
It's not me.
the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Yay! Happy.